All right, hello, friends, and welcome back to the Gaming Dad Fujo podcast. This is episode number 28, being recorded on July 24th, 2024. I am Fujosovich, your host, former professional Hearthstone player, currently working as an analytical chemist. We know we talked about some job changes. I'm still a chemist. It's fine. And this is a place where we talk about all the interesting things that we used to discuss on the streams, which would get uploaded onto the daily YouTube videos. And instead of interrupting all of our interesting chat and all the topics with gameplay and why I haven't been able to top deck Frostlet's Jaina in a while, now we're going to talk about all these interesting things. And on today's episode, we will be talking about, at the very least, Apex Legends Battle Pass Fiasco. We're going to do some TV show reviews and recaps, The Boys Season 4, Perfect Match Season 2, and World of Warcraft employees unionizing. All of that and so much more. Let's get started. He's got no time to play video games. He's the gaming dad, Fujo. Nailed it. And of course, as we jump right into it, we're going to, of course, do the classic housekeeping stuff. If you're watching on the YouTubes, hit that like button, subscribe, hit the bell to get notifications, leave comments, always giving Gaming Dad gaming suggestions. We were into Poke Rogue for a little bit. We'll talk about that in a little bit, in a second. Also, you can find us wherever you find your favorite podcasts, other than iTunes. I'm still working on it. I'm not an Apple person. I'll figure that out. We have to. I don't know why. We're missing, at least, I'm estimating based on our analytics at this point, probably 6,000 to 7,000 downloads every single week. And that is revenue money that we're missing out on. Because that's why we do this, of course, the big cash. That's a joke in case you weren't sure. We do this because it's fun. And we love talking about gaming and talking about gaming and all sorts of other fun stuff that we always did. What have we done since the last time we spoke? Zero Poke Rogue. I haven't logged on a single time. I know they've done a whole bunch of updates. The classic run has been updated, a bunch more bosses, which pros and cons to make it a little more challenging, which is cool. Bad for new players to make it more challenging, so that's not cool. It's also bad because it takes away from your ability to run into rare monsters if you're in different biomes that you're trying to let me get to this biome. You can only really make it to once per run. And now you're having that eliminated a couple times by different bosses, so you're losing the chance to catch your rare Rayquaza or whatever it is that you wanted to find. But it's just incredible that team is still pumping out tons of content. What other gaming stuff? I've played Hearthstone 3 or 4 times now in the past couple weeks. You can go back in a couple podcasts ago and explain why that timeline. Maybe we have some Hearthstone time. But yeah, it's been interesting. And Hearthstone, actually, Perils of Paradise. I didn't even know this, but the expansion just came out 2 days ago. I didn't know this when I started playing a couple weeks ago. New expansion just came out, Perils of Paradise. And here's the thing. Let's talk for 2 minutes. I know we're not a purely Hearthstone podcast anymore. Not that we ever were. But the beginning of any expansion is fantastic because the meta is unsettled. And it's the best part where people are experimenting, trying this, trying that. Is this going to be good? Something ends up being horrible. And people just figure it out. And historically, people have been figuring out the meta and what's a strong deck, what's a fast enough deck, what's too fast a deck, what's too slow of a deck. Faster and faster every single expansion. From what I've seen in the theory crafting, there's a lot of decks that still need to get experimented. And even once a deck or two starts establishing as being very dominant, people will start countering that deck very hard. So then it might fall off and for something. And you have this really cool cycle that the overall suggestion. I have this fantastic video on my YouTube channel. You can search it for what to craft. It still applies today. Nothing is the summary of that one. I'll spoil that one, but also go check it out on the YouTube channel. It's fantastic. It's just, you don't craft anything at the beginning, and I've been free to play now for years and years and years of Hearthstone. For a while, I was buying the little bundles, the $40 bundles or whatever they were back then. Obviously, they're a lot more now. But it's kind of interesting. We'll see if that continues or if it's just, casual battleground thing. But we'll be playing a little bit of Hearthstone probably moving forward. And we'll kind of see how that goes if we end up talking about any of that. And if we ever make another push for Legend. We did our Legend last year. No, 2 years ago. Oh my, that was 2 years ago we made Legend. Did not make Legend last year. Barely played at all any Hearthstone last year. And that's fine. But that's all the gaming that we've really done. Have I played any Breath of the Wild since the last time we spoke? Yes, since the last time I recorded, yes, I got a couple hours in of Breath of the Wild, still not beaten it. I could go to where I think the final boss is going to be, but there's just a lot of other cool stuff I want to do. I want to get a couple more hearts. I want to keep finding shrines and getting some more hearts, exploring the world, I've done a lot of the side adventures, but there's a couple other cool. I did some Dragon Quests with some shrines. It's with the not the shrines, not the temples. What are they called? The courage, the wisdom, the power, whatever they are. The special shrines, not the shrines that give you hearts. But yeah, that's all the gaming that we've done. And let's get into our topics. And we talked about Hearthstone, one digital card game, to kind of the card game Magic the Gathering, the one that kind of started this whole card game craze. Maybe not started, but really popularized it. If it wasn't the very first. Magic the Gathering also has a new expansion. Bloomborough, getting lots of advertisements on my phone for this one, that's for sure. And that's cool. And again, it's exciting. People, new cards, and Magic the Gathering has this really interesting thing where they will reprint cards because they have they cycle their only the last 2 years worth of expansions are valid to play competitively, and so they have to reprint certain cards every once in a while, every few years, every couple expansions, if they want to have a 2-mana 2/2, which is obviously very very popular in Magic the Gathering, but my point is that they'll reprint stuff. So these expansions are cool to see what gets reprinted, what new stuff, new interesting things. But the problem right now is they've offered this value pack. And there's already too many packs when it comes to Magic the Gathering. And this offers 7 cards. That's fine. Low price. That's great. No guaranteed rare. That's awful. That is so bad. Magic the Gathering apparently has tried this before with World Wake and Alara. Both times it was horrible. And again, this is just Magic the Gathering trying to get creative and say, hey, it's a cheaper way to buy cards if you just need more cards in your collection. But if you're guaranteed to not have, or if you're not guaranteed to have the more rare cards, the more powerful cards, you're just trying to milk people for a couple more pennies to try to help the bottom line. And if you just make better games, more engaging games, better toys, better cards, you're going to sell more stuff at the end of the day. So just make them good. Don't try and milk people. We've gotten pretty smart about this sort of stuff. So it's kind of disappointing to see, but it is what it is. It's an unfortunate thing in that's happening with Magic the Gathering. And we know Hearthstone's not any better when it comes to pricing, but that's fine. And speaking about things not being excellent when it comes to pricing, streaming services, we're getting a bunch of ads. We didn't try. We did successfully watch season 4 of The Boys on Amazon Prime. Hey, Amazon Prime, if you've got that Amazon Prime, throw it over to your Fujo account. I'm joking. I have to stream. We haven't streamed. We should find a time to stream though. We'll talk about that at the end. We need to find a time. We tried to watch The Boys. What I'm trying to say is we tried to watch The Boys, right? And they had 2 commercials during the episode. And the thing is, The Boys is the type of show that would have funny type of commercials within it, right? You could see sometimes, this commercial and there's this sunrise and you're like, wait, is Homelander going to come and try and sell me something in the middle of this? But the thing is, the whole point of streaming services was to get away from this cable TV model. We're needing to commercials to generate revenue and pay for things, right? We have monthly subscriptions and that should cover it. And there's additionally, there's Netflix stories of Netflix potentially kicking off some of their lower tier net. And there's also tiered plans, right? You can upgrade your Amazon Prime to not see all these commercials. I thought that's what Prime was, to eliminate commercials, at least for Twitch. Netflix is kicking people off their lowest tiered payment plans, forcing them to upgrade or renew. It goes against how all of this started, right? Like Netflix beat Blockbuster and the movie rental places. They were more convenient, they were easier to deal with, and they were cheaper. And it's becoming more and more difficult and expensive to continue to use these things. So maybe we're going to have to dust off our Captain Jack Sparrow cosplay and sail the high seas. I'd rather not go down that route, but if you're interested, it's probably not that hard to find on the internet. But it's a disappointing thing. I'd rather watch things the easy legal way and not have to do all this extra stuff. But do what you got to do. It's really disappointing seeing how some of these payment models have been working out. All right, and we just mentioned The Boys, one of these shows that had a bunch of commercials. Season 4. Let's do a quick little recap chit chat about The Boys season 4. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty cool. Butcher is definitely at the beginning. It's like, okay, he's sick. Butcher's gonna die. This is a prediction. Butcher's gonna die. By the way, there's going to be spoilers here. When did the season end? This week or last week? It's been a while. Spoilers alert have been said. My prediction is Butcher's gonna die. That was the prediction at the end of season 3, to be honest. So that's not even a spoiler for season 4. Nothing has changed, guaranteed. Fantastic to see him hallucinating our best friend John Winchester. That was really cool. A really cool thing where he's all sick and now he's hallucinating his dead wife, hallucinating his dead buddy as they argue with him. They're trying to get the virus strong enough to kill Homelander. Really cool little story. The thing with Frenchie kind of, I don't know, it felt like they had to give Frenchie something and it was a story, but it kind of went nowhere and then he just came back. So that was disappointing. again, fantastic hip hop shirts all the time. Dead Prez on the last episode, fantastic. I know there was a little bit of I want to say people felt like season 4 was a little underwhelming. I was fine with it. We watched it along as it was basically, we were a couple episodes behind, but then we kind of went week by week. I was actually kind of really into it. And then the last episode really tied everything together. Super cool. We got our favorite hunter. I'll say our favorite hunter. Well, after John Winchester, we got Bobby Singer saying "idjit" and then "balls" back to back. I mean, how fantastic is this? And super cool stuff with the shapeshifter. Annie was fantastic. Huey was just assaulted all season long, so that was interesting. But otherwise, really fun season. Lots of great stuff to look for. Season 5, I hope they nail the landing. If season 5 is, if the finale of season 4 is leading into season 5 the way that season 5 is going to be, I think we are going to be in great shape. And then actually, I think there was just a whole bunch of new stuff that was just released today, I believe, for the Boys universe. We know there's season 5 of the Boys coming out, Gen V. So season 5 is going to be in 2026, so we've got a bit of time to wait, unfortunately. Gen V season 2 is filming now, coming out in 2025. And then The Boys Mexico has been announced, with being produced by one of the people who's producing it is Cassian Andor himself, which is pretty cool. Looking forward to that. Yeah, I mean, The Boys, it's brutal, it's violent, it's ruthless. And it's a lot of fun. We saw Chuck from Supernatural as well there. That's definitely some pink eye in that episode. But really fun, really fun season. I didn't really have people like to complain and get upset, and I understand we can be critical of things. I just I had a good time. I when I watch TV shows, I like to just enjoy myself, and so I thoroughly did. And now moving on to the next show we wanted to talk about today is one of our Netflix garbage reality TV shows, Perfect Match Season 2. And I say this, we've talked about this before. We watch in the Fujo household some garbage reality TV shows, understanding what they are, right? And we've talked about this before. All of these, any reality TV show based on relationships, usually are only good for the first few seasons, and then a meta. We talk about games all the time, right? These love, even the love shows where you're trying to find a relationship, a marriage, or whatever. A meta establishes. In this, Perfect Match Season 2 was absolutely the worst. Perfect Match is contestants of people who have already been on other Netflix reality shows. So they're Netflix, pseudo-celebrities. They have their internet fame, their 15 minutes of fame. Maybe they have a podcast. Maybe they try and leverage it to something else. Some money, some revenue generation somehow. And I would say nearly everyone on this season, and maybe it was for the first season as well, of just people wanting to get back on TV, get back in, people talking about them. But this season 2 was just an absolute joke, and to me, in that it seemed like no one was even hiding that fact. Where even like the quote unquote strongest looking couples were very clearly just making out with each other. In my opinion, just making out with each other on a vacation, like it's some like vacation fling. And that was kind of confirmed because what were the quote-unquote strongest, longest relationships? Kaz and Micah. Apparently, Kaz made out with another contestant after filming wrapped before they left. Where were they, Dominican? Before they left Dominican, he was already making out with someone else. Steven and Alara. Steven didn't even return any of Alara's calls afterwards. Harry and Jess. I thought that was... I did not like that at all. Harry on the first morning was complaining when he was paired with Elise that he didn't get to sleep with her. And it's perfect match, not perfect, ing. So that was an interesting choice. And then Jess is like, well, this is the man I need for my, for my 10-year-old and I. And I'm like, that's probably not the decision making that I would have imagined she would have been making. And they did break up because Harry very clearly got caught on camera being very sexual with another person on the show when he's supposed to be with Jess. And then the thing, okay, let's do slightly timeline here. I don't even remember the names of the people who won because they were only on the show for like 20 minutes. I don't remember them. They had a couple dates. They somehow got to stay in the house on the second last night. They had a final date, even though I'm like, this is the first time I've ever seen you. I didn't write their names down because I was like, if I can't remember what their names are, I'm not going to say it. And I don't remember their names, so I'm not going to say it. And that's fine. Somehow they ended up winning. And they went on, at least they actually went on their honeymoon, their reward, whatever it was, the prize, unlike last season where they didn't even make it, which is, again, just silly people on silly shows doing silly things. And then they have this little thing afterwards. And again, to me, just so we're clear, I think Nick Lachey does a great job of hosting these things and keeping everyone wrangled in and like kind of moving stuff forward. At least from what I see, I actually enjoy his hosting there, which is kind of funny. They had this quick little clip with like Harry and Jess, how like afterwards, a few weeks after filming was finished, Jess was out in LA and they're getting to know each other. And Harry's asked her 80 times to be, I just asked you 80 times to be my girlfriend. I just want you to be my girlfriend. And then we're trying to get everything to work. And the screen goes black and it was 2 weeks later they broke up. And it's just like, well, okay, that the way that they did it very, very comedically to me saved the season. Otherwise, like, I just wanted it over. And just like the worst. They're gonna have to, I don't know, they'll have to do something. Otherwise, I don't even think we'll waste our time with season 3 of Perfect, unless there's people that we really like who are on it. That's the only way I think that it could draw us in, which is kind of unfortunate. But and here's the thing, I understand going into it what it is, but it's just like, at least pretend, at least like give the illusion of what you're doing, because again, I'm just there for entertainment at the end of of a busy day. Of like, that's all I'm looking for. And it's like, yeah, we're not doing this again unless it's really, really steps up. Okay, we obviously have to mention Apex Legends. Okay, they had on July 8th, there was an article came out, Apex Legend, fantastic battle royale, really fast-paced shooter. They're changing their battle pass pricing. How was that hard to say? That shouldn't be that hard. Battle pass pricing. It is hard for me to say. Never mind. We're not going to do it again. Say it 5 times fast? No way. Okay, so what happened? So the article was written as, we're going to be changing our battle pass pricing. Oh, I'm done. But the interesting thing, they said they're changing it. When in reality, changing was a very like neutral way to say doubling. Because what they're doing, there's going to be basically 2 passes per season. And initially, you were only going to be able to buy it with cash. That got rolled back actually today, July 24th. They reverted that change. So there's still going to be 2 passes. But now you can use it with the in-game currency. And if you complete the whole pass, the pass, you'll have enough currency to buy the next one. So this was, first of all, very expected. And allows the Apex development team to say, look, we listen. But again, some of the challenges are not the most solo player friendly, and it also forces you to be playing a lot. So if you're going to have burnout and you're going to miss stuff, maybe I'll just top up some of my currency with a couple of coins that I buy with my own cash. It's an interesting thing where, again, maybe this was a little staged, a little planned to make them look like, we are listening. But again, at the end of the day, it's just this case of trying to milk people for a couple extra bucks. If you have and we talk about it all the time, but like if you have a good game, you have a good product, people are going to want to go and spend money and do all that stuff. So focus on that, in my opinion. Let's have a very quick, brief wrestling shout out to Dom Mysterio again, always. So Dominic Mysterio's in the middle of this love triangle. Dom was obviously with Rhea for a long time, and then Liv, while Rhea got hurt, she got injured, she had to drop the title. She had to go away for her rehab and stuff. Liv has showed up and been flirty with Dom, and Dom's been trying to push her away and stuff. And then Rhea came back, and she's really upset, and there's some confrontations. And this past Monday night, July 22nd, 2024, Dom Mysterio was getting really upset at Liv, siding with Rhea, his longtime mommy, and he full on swore at her in Spanish, which did not get bleeped out on the English broadcast, nor was it beeped out on the Spanish broadcast, which I don't know why just makes me giggle that he was swearing at her in Spanish, which, he's we've talked about this, he's fluent. But it's just funny that it didn't get beeped out, and it's not like it's not like it's an obscure language, right? Like, especially in the US, a lot of people speak Spanish. And even if you don't speak Spanish, you probably caught a couple of the swear words that he said. So I thought that was absolutely excellent. And again, for the wrestling story. So that's an excellent part in and of itself. But then the storyline is just incredible that Dom gets this fantastic love triangle that he's in somehow. And he finally stood up to Liv. But this is going to set up now an even bigger betrayal when he finally betrays Rhea Ripley. And then, of course, people are just going to hate Dom even more, which is exactly what he is fantastic at. So we'll follow up when that eventually happens, because there's the Fujo prediction for where that one's going. Okay, what is next? Oh my goodness. This is an interesting story. What did the article come out and it said? The article said, Microsoft's World of Warcraft gaming staff votes to unionize. Let's stop you right there. And let's just hit you with this classic World of Warcraft quote. Work is to poop! No more! Thank you. That's from Burning Crusade. Work is to poop. The article is really tough, first of all, because Microsoft's World of Warcraft, that's never going to make sense in my brain. This is Microsoft's Activision Blizzard's World of Warcraft. Thank you very much. Until there's another takeover or buyout. But this is fantastic for the, power to the worker. This is fantastic that we know the gaming industry. We've talked about a lot on Gaming Dad Fujo podcast, a lot of layoffs, right? A lot of gaming companies did a lot of hiring, especially during COVID. Like, hey, people are going to be at home. Let's pump out some great games. People are at home, have time and money and energy to spend on these great games. And recently, a lot of layoffs, a lot of people saying, you know what, we need to be returning you to the office. A lot of, company cuts where the policy is like, whoever's on the bottom of the totem pole, you're just out the door first. This is really good for some, employee retention, employee benefits, employee experience, pay, all sorts of great stuff. And also pretty good timing for this World of Warcraft team, because the company Microsoft, Activision, Blizzard, Vivendi I know Vivendi's been gone for a long time, but it's pretty good timing because they have a really big War Within expansion just around the corner, and I'm sure that management does not want to drop the ball, because World of Warcraft has a really big, multi-year plan already published, and they don't want that to flop because, again, there's a lot of revenue coming in from that, so they don't want to mess with it. And you know what? Now their employees will be at least slightly, if not significantly, more rewarded for their energy and their effort and the value that they put into the company. And they'll be more, hopefully that allows them to be more productive and make an even better product for, better product than something that's been running for, 50 years of gaming and been an absolute powerhouse that nobody can come anywhere close to touching. And that their employees do not go to work and now all say, work is to poop! No more! Thank you for that, fell orc. Okay. And you know what? That is going to be the end of Gaming Dad Fujo podcast, numero 28. I want to say thanks, everyone. I know this was a quick episode, but you know what? Sometimes you just got to get through a couple topics, and we're just going to call it. What did we say we want to do? I want to plan some sort of a live stream. I don't know when. I'm going to make an announcement right now that I will make an announcement about a live stream. There we go. Announcement about an announcement. I'm getting ready to run for politics. That's going to be pretty good. The stream, not the political career. That will not be good. We want to do that. We'll see again if you've made it this far. Send some more Gaming Dad gaming suggestions. Poke Rogue was absolutely excellent. Somehow haven't had a lot of time to keep up with it. Done a couple Hearthstone games. Let's see what else is out there. In the meantime, everyone, I hope you are going to be safe. Be good to each other. I hope you're doing well wherever, whenever you are. Have a great morning, afternoon, or evening, or evening. Stay safe, and we'll talk to you sometime very, very soon. Bye-bye.